Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about multiple tokens. We are going to be addressing the quantum financial system. Specifically, we are going to be talking about XLM, XRP, and XDC. These are three assets that, in my opinion, you just can't go wrong with, right? Like, as we look at the long road ahead around the space, tokenization, faster payments, everything happening in real time, right? Like, as we look at the future, one thing that I've always been very, very focused on is the efficiencies of this technology, right? Because as we do see the global organizations talking about faster payments, efficient markets, how to usher in digital transactions and digital workflows, getting rid of paper-based processes, all of that pertains to DLT and blockchain. I've also talked about how we are going to be ushering into a stage of this market where many people will be shocked by what's coming. And the reason why is because, as we look at this list of this quantum financial system tokens, first off, there's only 247 followers of this. It's kind of comical. It's hard to get to this point, right? On CoinMarketCap, it's not listed as an actual thing. You actually have to look this up. But as we look at the quantum financial system, these are just a few tokens that I feel very confident about long term. You probably see some of your favorite tokens on this list. You see XRP being number one, Matic, XLM, HBAR, QNT, XDC, Algo, IOTA, Casper, Flare, CeeLo. WorldCoin's on here. Questionable take on that one. Energy Web Token, Nexera, Sologenic, DAG, Electronium, LCX. Stronghold, again, questionable, right? Alliance Block is basically Nexera. This just was the one that got hacked. They replaced it. And then we have Songbird on here, Corium, and Moby. Now, some of the best tokens on this list are the first major ones. Now, like I said, we are going to be talking about XRP, XLM, and XDC in this video. These are three that are staple pieces in my portfolio simply because I believe in them long term. The best part about this is that year to date, these are three of the top gainers in the quantum financial system list. I've also talked about these three heavily on this channel for quite some time because these are three that I just feel are becoming pillars in this new system. And even when I look at what's happening around this entire space, we are in a utility standpoint, which is utility is set to conquer this space. We know that. A big change is coming, just like the dot-com bubble, where you had billion-dollar plus companies set up in a backyard shed. We have multi-billion-dollar meme coins. Regulations inch closer and closer day by day, which, like I said, is going to shock a lot of people. It's going to be a complete wipeout of all the trash in the space. Now, as we see this, right, it's the number one reason why I focus on the tokens that are going to be utilized heavily, or at least that are already being utilized heavily. I know that you guys get tired of hearing about the idea of trillions of dollars flooding into the space, or we're seeing major updates around these tokens, but not a lot of price movement. And I get that, but I also want you guys to realize that these things do take time. One of the biggest things that I've talked about for quite some time is tokenization, right? Because I think that tokenization of real world assets is going to be a big game changer. We know that Stellar has asset tokenization within the network. We do see tokenized real world value on the network built for asset issuance. This could be anything: CBDCs, stablecoins, securities, anything of value. When we look at this, right, there's a few things on here that they do talk about, but mainly, right, as we look at tokenization, we know that there's a lot of efficiencies. They do mention a few of them here, but they don't even go over fractionalization, which fractionalization is like a huge one. I actually talk about that quite a bit around real estate, but they're already onboarding a few names, and Navati's one of them. Navati's a big one, especially even with Ripple, but these are some great companies so far that Stellar has onboarded. But remember, right, Stellar is more so for the retail sector, and I've always mentioned this. Does that mean that they can't target institutions? No, but mainly they're heavily focused on P2P and retail side of things. We do also know that Ripple has been moving heavily into the tokenization space. We have here real estate, right? Like real estate is one of the most ripe for disruption markets out there around tokenization, because fractionalization will open the door of opportunity for a lot more money and individuals to jump into the real estate game. There's a big obstacle to get into real estate right now around cost. And we even see here that Anthony Wilfer is talking about CBDCs are gaining traction globally, and Ripple CBDC team are focusing in on real-world use cases for CBDC or stablecoin. Tokenization is the future of real estate, that he's saying here. And this was actually a pretty good tweet. I remember when this got tweeted out. This is, of course, with the EHKD. This is a hypothetical. Tokenized real estate and finance lending protocols allows users to tokenize real estate as collateral for loans. This is going to be pretty big if this becomes a real thing. And remember, right, like they're already working with some very large central banks around CBDC tokenization. And also, we already know that digitalization is here. We already know that banking is getting shaken up right now. The world of finance is getting shaken up. But tokenization, all of the major banks are talking about tokenization. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon even said that tokenization is a killer use case around the space. Also, we know that cross-border payments, big thing. Ripple recently joined the BIS around cross-border payments. What's funny about this is that we already know that this heavily depends on XRP in terms of their cross-border payment solution. And even over here, we do see settlement through digital assets, XRP. The arrangement allows for the transacting banks to settle payments using XRP as a digital asset. And this is a big one to really kind of look at because, you know, I do think that cross-border payments is also a market that is ripe for disruption. We already know major names are looking into solutions around cross-border payments. And I do think that Ripple joining the BIS is a big one to focus on. And even Stellar, right? Like Stellar's also focused on cross-border payments, but you also know who else is? XinFin. A lot of people overlook XinFin. Specifically, the IMPO partnership is a big one. This is the R3 Corda and XDC network bridge. And remember that this is allowing digital assets to be used for instant settlement amongst core dApps. Just like XRP, settlement through digital assets, we also have that with XDC. And this is all about interoperability and instant settlement with R3 Corda, which is one of the biggest private blockchain networks out there. But this is also through the public network and the public blockchain around Corda as well. And this is going to be allowing XDC to be utilized as a settlement vehicle within the Corda ecosystem. And I think that this is also another game changer. And this could also blossom into, like I said, trade finance, which is like the one major thing that they're actually working on. But also by extension, this bridge will allow digital assets like XDC or even the US dollar or US plus stablecoin to be transferred to and from core dApps on the private Corda platform as well. So it's public and private, it's a hybrid. And then also, like I said, this is Stellar with IBM, fueling the financial industry with open source cross-border payments. And even down here, we do see a few things mentioned. Now, by the way, this is WorldWire. Remember that. This is their cross-border payment network. And this is a big one to focus on. We see here, this is a cutting-edge network for cross-border payments utilizing the Stellar-powered blockchain network. The core value of this network is addressed the cost and friction in cross-border payments. And this is actually more so heavily focused on B2B, by the way. It aims to expand to other payment streams, including B2B, banks, and corporate payments. At first, it's going to start with money transfer operators, so more so P2P. But down here, we do see utilizes the Stellar network, which uses lumens as bridge currency. All money transactions in the Stellar network except lumens occur in the form of credit issued by anchors. So anchors act as a bridge between existing currencies and the Stellar network. Anchors are entities the network participants trust to hold their deposits and issue credits into the Stellar network for those deposits. And they also talk about stablecoins down here and the digital obligates that are needed to be settled out of banned via traditional rails. But again, this is like all through API plug and play, which is also another thing that I mentioned heavily multiple times in the past. Like API plug and play is crucial, but again, it kind of is confirming the fact that like digital assets being a settlement vehicle is going to be the future around a lot of these major payment opportunities to bring efficiencies to the traditional world. But also, IBM's World Wire is a big thing to focus on. We even see here clearing and settlement of cross-border payments in seconds, not days. And here we have the full breakdown. These are the challenges of the traditional cross-border payment scheme. And then down here, we do see using blockchain technology and Stellar Protocol, IBM Blockchain World Wire provides shared distributed ledgers for atomic payment clearing and settlement in real time or near real time. And it uses digital assets serving as the agreed upon store of value exchange between parties to settle transactions while integrating payment instruction messages. This is a big one, and you also do see market makers there with the digital asset right next to them. And here are the key benefits of blockchain World Wire, which are pretty self-explanatory. And then down here, the worldwide opportunity and why the world trusts IBM. $2 trillion worth of value of the payments industry by 2020, averaging 7% growth annually. 775,000 plus transactions happen per second per billion of population. 97% of the world's largest banks are IBM clients, and 90% of global credit card transactions are processed on IBM mainframes. This is why I say XRP and XLM, they're both crucial players, and you got to pay attention to the partnerships that they do have. And IBM is crucial with Stellar because, again, Stellar powers this World Wire, which is huge because 97% of the world's largest banks are IBM clients. And also, we have over here ISO 20022 compliant financial messaging for cross-border payments and domestic payments. And this is again with XDC. So as we look at XRP, XDC, and XLM, they all three of them have crucial connections with cross-border payments. This is why I say all three of them are going to be big pillars in this new system that is going to be underpinned by API plug and play, with digital assets being the settlement vehicle. The rails of tomorrow are going to be digital. We know this. And again, like, I'm so excited to see things really kind of blossom out here. I mean, even when you really look at a few things around trade finance with XDC, that's a very exciting endeavor with XDC, which really has my full focus right now. I know that there's also cross-border payments with XDC, but mainly what I really look at is what's happening around trade finance. For an example, like XinFin, which is XDC liquidity. I think that this is a huge opportunity because what this is going to allow is full-on digitalization of the trade finance space, and all of this is underpinned by XDC. And again, even here you have this outlining how it's all API access. This is API plug and play with major systems through XinFin, which is big. And also, right, as we look at this, we just recently seen SBI back in May working with XDC, which I did include this in a recent XDC video. But you can really kind of see where institutions have their focus on as well, which it seems as though these are three major players around the institutional grade sector and the payment side of things and even tokenization side of things. And we also know that recently Ripple just expanded with SBI, with XRP as a bridge currency, which was also a big update. Again, as we really kind of look at this list over here, going back to this list, these are some crucial players. And personally speaking, like as we really kind of look at this list, it's very exciting because when we look at even my portfolio, I've outlined a few assets that I hold. Casper is my number one holding simply through how many tokens I'm holding and how much value is invested into Casper. And I just look at it as such a great opportunity. But in my portfolio, like my top 5 include XRP, XDC, and XLM. Of course, with HBAR and Casper. So I would argue like my top 5 are those. And these are 5 tokens I just feel so confident about long term because of the utility tied to them. I think that over the course of the next couple years, and even as we do look, long term, I think more and more people will open their eyes to how big of an opportunity we actually have here. Changing the way that value is moved and settled globally, that's not a small feat, right? And it's something that doesn't have a small value tied to it either. That's why I say, like, with XLM and XRP, you really can't go wrong holding both of these. You're really kind of rolling the dice when you're just, looking into just one token. Diversifying is never a bad thing, especially as we're really kind of looking at crypto, and we're looking at crypto right now in its infancy. But as this market matures more, utility is going to be the full focus point. I think that this list is great. I could definitely add more to this. In my opinion, I think that there could be a lot of great other tokens added to this list as well. But for the most part, like, this is a solid list of tokens. There's a few questionable ones on the list, but for the most part, this is a great viewpoint of how we could be ushering into the quantum financial system of tomorrow that is heavily dominated by these digital assets and these, networks that are bringing about a systemic change. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.